Yesterday we were treated, and that's the right word, it was a treat. The Twitter goons were talking about the old censorship regime at Twitter, notably the trust and safety guy Yoel Roth, notably the Asian Indian legal consigliere Vijaya Gadde, notably the FBI guy at Twitter, James Baker. All of them were hauled before the House GOP and subjected to withering questioning that was, quite honestly, a real treat to watch. If you want highlights, go to my Twitter feed, and you'll see James Comer, you'll see Nancy Mace, you'll see Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, all of them doing a really good job putting these guys up against the wall, nailing them with their own words and actions, and making them squirm and hem and haw and try to dodge. And then we got a culmination that I want to tell you about. But the Hunter Biden story was an important theme. And the questioning was really telling because it exposed the fact that even though Twitter came to the conclusion that this was, quote, hacked, it was somehow a Russian hack, there was no basis for this. I love the questions to Yoel Roth. Who did you consult that told you that this was a Russian hack?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really talk to anybody. I just read some internal Twitter communications to that effect.
I'm paraphrasing, of course, but this is the Yoel Roth twittering on about, and what became really clear is how irresponsible these people are. Nancy Mace, who, by the way, has been on the podcast and did a great job, she focused on COVID. She's like, hey, Vijaya Gadde, you've been censoring prominent doctors, epidemiologists at Harvard and Stanford. Did you go to medical school? No, I didn't. Okay, so you're not a doctor. What gives you the competence to decide that these doctors are spreading misinformation? Well, I consulted the Twitter guidelines to come to that conclusion. So this is Vijaya Gadde. And you, again, see that these people have no qualifications. They are just in these positions of power, and they are lording it over the American public policy discourse. And Byron Donalds, a Florida congressman, did an excellent job. Basically, again, were you getting information and tip-offs from the Biden team about who to censor? You know, here's Yoel Roth. No, I've not been in any contact with the Biden team at all. Oh, really? Well, let's look at these emails where it talks about the Biden team, internal emails. This is from the Twitter files. Thank God for the Twitter files. Basically saying, requests have come in from the Biden team. And another guy reports right below that, handled. Handled, of course, here meaning we've taken care of it. We've banned all those guys. We've shadow banned them. We've done whatever we need to do to reduce or shut down their reach. Marjorie Taylor Greene was on complete fire. She went into the issue of child porn. Hey, Yoel Roth, how come you aren't taking all the child porn down? Didn't you write a thesis where you said it's kind of that you advocated for underage boys to have access to adult-only apps like Grindr and so on? In other words, and the question I was waiting for, which she held back on this one, but I wouldn't have. Okay, Yoel Roth, are you a pedophile? If not, are you an advocate for pedophilia? What are your views on the subject? This is the way to push it, not to back off and out of courtesy or discretion or, the children are watching. No, these people need to be held fully to account. Lauren Boebert was also aflame because remember, Twitter had essentially banned her for 90 days at a critical period, by the way, in the election cycle, and done it because all she did was tweet out something from Hillary Clinton and said something like, this is freaking crazy. And so an accurate tweet, nothing in it that is, quote, hateful or certainly didn't use the N-word. And yet, again, this Twitter team just decided, we don't really like Lauren Boebert. Let's just throw her off the platform for 3 months. And so this arbitrary exercise of power. And finally, here comes Representative Clay Higgins, who kind of brings it all home. And he says to these guys, and I'm not quoting him here, I have the quotes, but I don't need to read them. He says, in effect, listen, guys, you guys don't look all that comfortable to me. and you shouldn't. You look like you're under stress, and you should be. But it's only the beginning, because this is only, he says, the investigation stage. The arrest stage is still to come. Your lawyers kind of know all about that, but that involves handcuffs. It involves people taking you out of your house. It involves depositions. And he goes, I'm looking forward myself to doing 5 hours of depositions with you guys. So there was the Republicans here doing what Republicans need to do, and that is to take this information that's out there, that's being ignored, suppressed by the mainstream media, no problem. In an age of social media, we don't really care if New York Times doesn't cover it, Washington Post doesn't cover it. Remember, the Washington Post, 3 million subscribers, the New York Times, 7 million. But Twitter, 80, 90, 200 million people? We're talking about giant numbers. We have plenty of ability in today's environment, as long as it's an uncensored environment, to get this information widely out to the American people. And I'm delighted to see it's starting to happen.